Hello guys, welcome to the another video of testing class. So in this video, we are going to continue our TCS interview question automation testing series. So yesterday I have posted or we talked about the part one. Today is the part two. So I have added yesterday questions as well as today's question in this URL. So I will attach this URL or I will add this URL in the description box so that you can refer and download what all question can be asked and prepare for that. So let's talk about the interview question and their detail. So this interview was held on 13 November 22 and the experience ranges is 2 to 6 year and the role is for senior automation tester. As you can see the experience ranges 2 to 6. So this question might be little bit tricky, or you can say new questions for a 2 years of experience guy. But anyhow, if you prepared these question, then it would be easy for you to crack some critical questions too. Simple thing, like if you start adding 10 plus 10, then you can easily solve 2 plus 2. So that's why I'm exposing those question to you guys so that you can start working on that and start preparing those questions. So let's start with tell me about yourself, bro, and your responsibilities in your project. So very basic question and explain about each and everything that you do. In next few days, I am creating or I am creating a video where I will explain like what all things you can explain, whether you are a an experienced tester or a new tester or fresher. You can what you will be putting over here, what you will be replying in as an answer to this question. So I will be creating a video in upcoming days. So next question is explain which frameworks you are using. So you need to explain your framework. Make sure that you know each and every component of your framework. Like if you are using data driven framework, keyword driven, BDD, any other framework, then you know what all things you can use or you are using in your framework. Like if you are using data driven and using page object model as a design pattern, then you can explain like this is my package where I used to keep my pages. This is the package test suite where I used to keep my test cases, and within pages, method and locator of that page are the part of that page. We have a report folder, we have util folder which used to contain java, db, another utility, and logger folder and screenshot folder, something like that you can explain. So even I am creating a video on this, like how you can explain your framework in better way, because I have seen some guys last week I have uploaded a video when I was interviewing a candidate, and he was start explaining me framework like I'm using a maven framework. So maven is not a framework. So that is the issue, that if we do not know, or if we don't have any working knowledge, then how we can explain it? Because in if you talk about preparing for interview and working in company is two different tasks. If you prepare 100 question or you mug up all 100 question in of interviews, then you can easily crack any interview, any automation or manual interview. So just prepare for that, and once you cleared those interview, then you can start working or you can start exploring these things at your level, and you can write program to solve all those things, and you will be having the working knowledge. So prepare those questions so that you can crack it. Cracking interview is very necessary. Otherwise, if you think like, first of all, I will be preparing each and everything, like I will prepare selenium, I will prepare java, then I will give the interview. So let me frankly tell you, I mean, nobody is perfect in this world. And if you are thinking that if you are perfect in selenium and automation, then you will be start giving interview, then I mean, this is the biggest mistake that you are doing. If 15 or 20% you know about selenium automation, just I mean, you should have, I mean, good knowledge of those 15 to 20% thing, and then you can start giving interview. And I mean, by giving interview you will know that, I mean, what will question and what is the experience of that interview. So the next thing is like what is inheritance in java. You can explain type of inheritance that we can use, or you should know about, like is multiple or multi-level inheritance is applicable in Java, or can we use that, how can, if we can use, then how we can use that. Maybe interviewer will give you some program and identify either this multiple inheritance work, you will say no, or you will say yes, then he will ask you to explain why it is not working in Java. You should know, I mean, if you have done the programming of inheritance, then you know about it. What is API testing, what we used to do, and how we used to do it, and explain in detail. So this is all about API manual testing. So which tool you are using, how you used to keep the method, the URI, URL, endpoint, path parameter, and query parameter, and request body and response. All those things you should know, and you can tell him like, this is how I used to hit the API, and once we get the data, whether it's a get, post, put, or delete API, we used to get the data response section, and then we used to verify whether each and every detail are correct. And this is how we used to verify. Maybe interviewer and ask you like how you validate what is correct in this API. So obviously, when you start testing the API, you should have some document. Sometimes you will have a conference document where all those detail of API is mentioned, or sometimes a Swagger document for API testing is available, where which you can use for API testing. What is Jasmine framework? Have you worked on? If you have worked on it, then you can answer it. What is Python? How can we use it? So obviously, I mean, as we are, I mean, as this interview is related to the automation, then you know that, I mean, Python is one more language that we can use in automation. So I mean, there are some frameworks that is related to Python, like robot framework, where you can write your code in Python, and you can also use inbuilt robot library to execute your test cases. Explain your framework. What are the components that you are using in your framework? Explain how you have used oops concept in. I have seen this question multiple times. When somebody asks you, or interview asks you, do you know oops concept, you will say yes. But if somebody is asking you, have you used those oops concept, then in your framework, then how will you answer that? So first of all, you need to understand the oops concept, like these are the oops concept: inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and all those oops concept, you know. But have you used in your project? Like inheritance we use for parent child relationship, same goes with polymorphism, overloading and overriding. And this is how you can explain, like, okay, these are the concept that I mostly use in my framework. What is the latent effect and software testing? Sometimes some questions are related to the uh, manual testing too. How you will find all broken links on a web page? Write code. He will ask you to write code. So when I say broken link, it mean to say when I open a link on a page, and it mean to say when you click on a link, and sometimes 500 exception or something is coming. So how you validate? Suppose there are 20 links available on the page, and you click each link and it open within the page or a new page, and you verify the text is visible on the page, or page is getting loaded. So you need to understand these two things. Once page is successfully loaded, it means to say the API will be responding. The response of that API is 200. When you open a link and it there is a white page while opening this link, it means to say 500 exception is there. Then you need to verify the HTTP code as 500. So this is how you can validate, like clicking on link and verify the response code back to your previous screen. Click on next link, verify the response code, and back to this. So this is how you can verify. There are some other method or other code alternative for this I mean problem to solve. All locator is selenium. What all locator you are using, which locator is good, why we prefer id over xpath, why xpath is slow, and something like that. You can, I mean, if you use, you should know like why xpath is slow than id or class or name attribute. Which locator is widely used and why we should use it most. Difference between implicit explicit wait. Not only difference, but the syntax, where to use, what if implicit wait fails and your element is captured in explicit wait. Can implicit and explicit wait work together? Can it be possible? So this is how you, I mean, if you know, you can explain. Which method is used to scroll down to the bottom of element? So this is a very good question. So I mean, to scrolling to that element, there are a couple of method that you can use: scroll down or scroll to the axis of, like, you can provide the coordinate, like I need to scroll down little, or you can use javascript to scroll. So I mean, if you guys remember that, I mean, we can use JavaScript in automation. Like if I need to click on any button or anywhere, then I can use JavaScript. See, in the similar way, we can verify, or we can scroll down using JavaScript. Just use JavaScript to scroll it down. How to click on element if it is isn't displayed on this screen? So very good question. Why we want to click on any element if it is not getting displayed? Or first of all, we will be verifying whether the element is getting displayed, then click on it. So we can use is displayed and something like that to identify whether the element is available or not. If it is not available, what do I mean, clicking on that element will not help us. That's why first check and then click. Explain difference between response code of API. So mostly what all response code you used to receive, you can explain, like these are the, I mean, 5 or 7 response code that I used to face when I was testing API, like 200 series, 201, 200, 204, 300 series, 400 series, 401, 400, 405, 403, and same goes with 500 series, 500, 501, 502, 503. So 400 series is related to client error, and 500 is for server error. So when I say client error and server error, it means to say when you are getting a 400 series error, it means to say there is something wrong at your end. At your end, you are the tester, and it's something and at your end. Maybe you are not providing the correct authorization. Maybe you have selected incorrect method. You need to select put, but you are selecting post or something like that. Need to select post. You are selecting get. So every time if you are making mistake, then it is related to client. Then you will get 400 series. And if your API is working fine and server is not responding, so whatever is coming with the 500 series, it belongs to the server side. Like 503, internet server error. 500, page is blank. So this is how you can, how to handle window pop-up. So there are two things like alert and pop-up. Okay, so sometimes you'll get iframe in the alert box. So there are things. So if interview specifically ask you about alert, then tell him like you can accept alert, dismiss alert, or send keys. And for if you want to handle error, sorry, window, then you can use some switch to window, get window handle, then switch back to the window, something like that. You can explain. But before explaining, at least try these things at your end. This will help you to give the concrete answer to the interviewer. Otherwise, if you, I mean, forget, or if you start explaining in a wrong way, then he will know like you doesn't have a working knowledge of Selenium. Next is how to get an image from the nth window. So nth, I mean, this questions with respect to the windows, like window handles. So suppose when I click on a button and it will open 3 window. It used to open 3 window. I need to go back to the third window and get the image, or click on the image. Then first of all we need to find the number of window handle, then create a list of that. And I mean, not the list, because set is the return type of get window handle. Then we'll iterate the set and move to the third or second, whichever window we want, and do or perform our action. How to perform? Drag and drop files on web page. Again, two methods are there. First one is simply drag and drop. It used to take argument as source and destination as in web element, like from where you are picking, and from, I mean, where you are dropping the element. Second is like the very basic, like first of all we will move to that element, we drag it and drop it. Sometimes we can use that. And name some method in action classes. What are method we can use in action classes? So these are the method like we can use: drag and drop, context click, context click, double click, send keys, and all those methods we can use. Difference between pom and page factory. So basically when I use page factory, then I use like find by and provide the locator, like xpath equal to this or id equal to this, and save that xpath in a web element. But if I am talking about pom, page object model, then there are a little bit different, that I will be saving the xpath in by variable. And once I save the variable in by and save the xpath or my locator in by, then I will use driver.find element by dot, and here we will pass the by variable to convert that by into the web element. So the next question is how to select a value from a drop down. So while selecting, we use select class, and it has three different methods: select by value, select by text, select by visible text, and select by index. You can use to select it. Explain, list, and hash map. So if you are saying, I mean, before that he can ask you about rate yourself in Java, like two, I mean, out of 10, you can rate yourself 6, 7, whichever you want. And after that, he will ask you, what do you mean by list? Where to use that? And what the list is solving in Java? And what is the use of hash map? Why hash map is different from list? Why we use that? What is the intention of using hash map over hash table? So sometimes the question is around the sometimes collection as well as hash map. So this is all about the part second part of this interview, TCS interview. So if you like this video, then please subscribe, because it took a lot of effort to, I mean, collect these data and pushing it and creating a page and publishing it. I mean, this is for you guys. If any of you just refer those questions and crack, I mean, I would be pretty much happy. Like, so thank you guys. Thank you very much.